Welcome to this video presentation. My name is Mark from Midi Consultancy. I'm an ICT consultant, but also a non-professional musician. And in this presentation, I will show you and tell you the why and the how I incorporated a 2-in-1 notebook as a music instrument into my live performances. I have this solution already for 5 years, but never had the time to make a video about it and share it with others. At the moment I'm making this video, it's March 2020 and I'm in a lockdown situation due to the coronavirus, which gives me some unexpected spare time. So I thought, let's spend it useful. Well, I'm a keyboard player and member of the band called Lemma. For more information, check out our Facebook page. You can find the link in the description below. We are covering songs in a semi-acoustic way. So let me explain that a little bit more. On the one hand, there is the guitar player, only playing acoustic guitars. And on the other, are the keys, where I'm playing with the left hand the bass lines and with the right hand mostly acoustic and electric pianos. This is then supported by self-made rhythm patterns based on cajon, beat rings, shakers and other percussion instruments. The patterns of the song are not sequenced, but triggered live, so that we have some freedom in performing the song. In the beginning in 2014, these rhythm patterns were played via a Roland X7 keyboard, where the Midi patterns were launched via the built-in launchpad. That has worked fine, but was not ideal. Switching from one set of song patterns to another took quite some clicks. Beside that, I was too dependent on the Roland X7, which was in that time already 10 years old. So back then, I started the quest for a better solution. One of the principles was, and still is, to keep the gear setup as simple as possible. So the less different devices, the better. So my first option was get the next generation workstation from Roland. At that time the FI series were available, but I was not charmed about this series of instruments. So my quest went on and led me to the Launchpad devices and to the DAW software of Ableton Live. And that has a functionality I was looking for. More specific, the clip launch functionality. But beside a computer for running Ableton Live, you need a separate Launchpad, and that means 2 extra devices. So I searched further on to see if there is a total solution on one device. There I found the mobile sequencer from Yamaha running on an iPad, but I was not convinced that it would be usable in a live performance because the buttons were still quite small and the percussion instruments that I needed were not part of the instrument library. So I was looking for a device that could run Ableton and at the same time be a touch device that I can use as a launchpad or controller of Ableton Live. Back then, there were already those 2-in-1 devices, a Windows machine with a touchscreen, so it could run Ableton Live, but there was still one thing that has to be solved: the touch interface. Because standard Ableton Live cannot be easily controlled via touchscreen. So I found this solution called Emulator from Smith & Martin. Why this solution? Well, it gives you the ability to create your own software controller, but also integrate with Ableton Live. And that was exactly what I was looking for. In the meanwhile, that company is now called Touch Innovation, and they create touchscreen controllers for DAW and DJ software. The touch interface software is now called Chameleon and is available at a company called High Computers. So the result at the end is a Lenovo 2-in-1 Ultrabook with Ableton Live 9 and on the same device the touch interface software with a self-made controller. So let me show you how this works together. Okay, so let's first start Ableton Live and I will show you how I set it up for my purposes. I will take a moment. I'm using Ableton Live for creating the rhythm patterns for a song, but also playing them during the live performance. So, how did I set it up? For the different percussion instruments, I created tracks. A track for shakers, a track for beat rings, cajon, and so on and so on. Also one track for samples. So, within a track I can create different clips. These are Midi clips, which sending the information to the drum kit. And the drum kit is an Ableton instrument I configured myself based on samples of cowbells, cabasa, shakers, and of course cajon, because that's the base instrument of the percussion loops. So for a song, I create different clips for each instrument and combining them in a scene. And in my case, I have an average of 4 scenes for a song. Next step is to start up the controller that I set up with the Chameleon touch interface software. Chameleon provides a script that allows you to integrate with Ableton through Midi. Therefore, you need to run a virtual Midi interface on your machine. I created the controller so that it's positioned on the right side of the screen and layered above Ableton. And I still see the 4 scenes and the 6 clip tracks. I created 4 large buttons to launch the scenes, so I can hit them easily on the right moment during a live performance. Within the scene, I can control the 6 clips of the different percussion instruments and samples. For each scene, I can see the clips that are available. And when launching the scene, I will also see which clip is running. With this controller, I'm able to control Ableton through a touchscreen. Let me show you. I will activate the webcam that is positioned on my screen. Okay. Now I will start again the second scene with my fingers. This is my hand high. I can switch, of course, the clips off and on, or combining a clip of another scene to it. Can stop and start again. It's very responsive. I can navigate through the scenes through these arrows. And if I'm combining them with the shift button, I can jump to the next 4 scenes, which in my case mostly is the next song. So, that are the main functions of my controller. What I also do is combining samples of a song together with the percussion loops I made myself. So let me show you an example where I use loops from the original song together with percussion loops I made in Ableton. Still sample loops, now combining with the percussion instruments in Ableton. Switching over in next scene, and in this next scene I will add one more sample loop to the song. And switch off the backings and switch off the complete song. As you can see, I still have room on the screen, and in my case I'm using this to put there my songbook. I place it to the left beside the controller and Ableton. Now I can easily leaf through my songbook and controlling Ableton Live. And how this looks on a stage setup, I will show you right now. So, here are my keys. It's a Midi X7 on a simple key stand, which is extended so that I can put there a universal tablet holder. So here we have the Lenovo notebook 2-in-1 device with a 13-inch touchscreen, and I will flip it over directly into a tablet modus and click it into the tablet holder. So, log in and start first Ableton Live. In the meanwhile, I can already start up the controller. And also, let's already start up my songbook. It's now loading. It will take a moment. Now we have the controller and the songbook. Let's hide the controller for a moment and put my songbook already to the left side of the screen and put the Ableton to the right. So bring up the controller back, switch to the first song, and ready to play. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope it gives you some ideas on using this kind of technology as a musician on a stage.